Show with Preston Scott. I'm Preston. He is Jose. It is show 5274. So if you find that we have failed in our responsibility to provide entertaining and informative, provoking content, you go ahead and go to customer service and seek a refund using number 5274. Great to be with you for the third hour, and I'm thrilled to have with me, first time ever, the Chancellor of the State University System has joined me on the program, Ray Rodrigues. Ray, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, Preston.
My pleasure. Let's do this for listeners. Let's first give a brief overview of the state university system. It sounds like a really big thing. Break it down. What does that system do? And then your role as chancellor.
Very good. Our state university system in Florida is comprised of our 12 universities. That would include Florida State University, FAMU, University of West Florida, University of North Florida, obviously University of Florida, University of Central Florida, University of South Florida, Florida Atlantic University, Florida International University, Florida Gulf Coast University, and then New College and Florida Polytechnic University. It is big. We're the third largest university system in the country. We have over 430,000 students who attend one of our 12 institutions. My role as chancellor is I am the CEO of the Board of Governors and the chancellor of the State University System of Florida. I advocate for the university. I also serve in a regulatory position in that it's our responsibility at the Board of Governors to ensure that all that's being done within our state university system is compliant with the regulations and with state statutes. And finally, we're focused on student success.
What's the intersection between what you do with the Board of Governors and as chancellor with, for example, the state legislature, the governor's office, and the Florida Department of Education? Is there any kind of Venn diagram where those things overlap, or are you a totally separate entity?
Well, that is a great question. We are a separate entity. We were constitutionally created to be the independent board that serves as the regulatory authority over our Florida universities. We do interact with each of those entities. Mm-hmm. The Board of Education has the authority over the Florida college system, which would include Tallahassee State College and the other 27 members of the Florida college system. We work very closely with the Florida college system so that there is a consistent education experience and ease of transfer for graduates in the Florida college system that wish to continue their education and obtain a bachelor's degree at one of our universities. We interact, and when I say we, I'm talking about the state university system, with the legislature because we are advocating for their appropriation request, and we're also advocating for good policy in the realm of higher education with the legislature. And we interact quite a bit with the executive office of the governor, working on both appropriations and policy issues.
If you were to draw kind of a comparison, where does Florida rank within its university system and other states with regard to affordability?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because there is no one who is more affordable in the state university system of Florida. The College Board, which is the organization that administers the SAT, every year doing a report specific to affordability, and they just released their report for the current year. And our tuition and fees in the state university system of Florida are $6,360. The average public university has tuition and fees of $11,610. So we're 45% below the national average. We have not raised tuition or fees since 2013. And as a result of that, our students are able to attend without going into debt. You know, the narrative nationally is that higher education is unaffordable and that the only way to obtain a degree is to go into a significant amount of debt. And so students are looking at that and weighing whether that's a worthwhile investment. And that's largely true for many of the states in this nation. But Florida is the exception because we do have the lowest tuition and fees, and as a result of that, 77% of our students enrolled in fall semester do not have the federal student loan. We are graduating students debt-free.
Chancellor Ray Rodrigues with me. Ray, stand by. More to come, 10 past the hour. Talking about the higher education component in Florida's educational landscape here on the Morning Show with Preston Scott.
Hey, this is Kyle Brandt. You're busy. I'm busy. But every single Monday, we take 10 minutes to dish out 10 takes. NFL, life, whatever, but never more than 10 minutes. It's 10 takes with Kyle Brandt. Driving home from work? You got time for 10 takes. Taking a smoke break? You still smoke? You got time for 10 takes. Listen to 10 Takes with Kyle Brandt on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search 10 Takes with Kyle Brandt and start listening.
Top reasons your career wants you to move to Ohio. So many amazing growth opportunities, high-paying jobs in technology, advanced manufacturing, engineering, life sciences, and more. You'll soar to new heights, just like the Wright brothers, John Glenn, even Neil Armstrong. Their careers all took off in Ohio, and yours can too. A job that can take you further, and a place you can't wait to come home to. Have it all in the heart of it all. Launch your search at callohiohome.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Back with the Chancellor of the State University System here in the Sunshine State, Ray Rodrigues. Ray, we were talking about the cost of an education here in Florida versus other parts of the country. Do we really put our focus on keeping our kids in state? Are we doing anything to try to attract? Because I would imagine the cost of out-of-state tuition for someone that comes to Florida for an education is a little bit different.
That's true. Every state charges more to their out-of-state students than their in-state students. Florida is fairly unique. The only other states who do what we're doing would be North Carolina and Texas, in that we require a set percentage of students who are allowed in from out of state. So, for example, in the Florida State University system, we allow 10% of students from out of state. So if you look at our 420,000 students, 90% of them are Florida residents. And the reason for that is our Florida legislature has made a significant investment in higher education. In fact, since 2013, when we implemented performance-based funding centered around student success, our appropriations in state for state education, higher education, have gone from $1.74 billion to $4.85 billion. That's an increase of 280%. Our legislature has prioritized investing in higher education for Florida citizens. And so we want to make sure that it's Florida citizens that are benefiting from those taxpayer dollars.
The graduation rates, first of all, what are they inside the state? And secondly, what's the time frame of graduation on average?
You know, that is also a very important question. If you were to Google typical graduation rate in the United States, the number that would come up would be 64%. So that's the national average. What you wouldn't know unless you drilled down on that is that 64% is actually a 6-year graduation rate. That is the standard for measuring graduation rates in higher education today. Here in the state of Florida, we measure in 4-year increments because that's what the universities are measured on in terms of performance-based funding. Our 4-year graduation rate is 64%. So we're doing in 4 years what the typical public higher education across this country university is doing in 6. If you want our 6-year graduation rate number, it is just below 80%. It's very important to us that our students are successful. U.S. News and World Report has ranked the State University System of Florida and our Florida College System as the #1 state for higher education since 2017 when they began ranking state systems. and it is an objective measure that they use. When they do that metric and they issue their rankings, they're looking at how much does it cost to attend, how deep in debt are students, how many of them graduate, and when they graduate, do they find jobs? And on all of those metrics, the State University System of Florida is extremely successful.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about success defined as in careers after schooling, getting a degree in something that actually leads to a job. How do you determine what the best paths are in making things available to students?
Well, we have a couple of things that we utilize. One is we have and within our performance-based funding metrics, we have programs of strategic emphasis. And to be designated a program of strategic emphasis, it has to be a program in which there is an existing job shortage in the state of Florida or a projected job shortage in the state of Florida that meets the minimum wage threshold. And to get that data, we work directly with the Department of Commerce, and we work with our chambers of commerce, the Florida Chamber of Commerce and our local chambers of commerce at our institutions, so that we're plugged into what the local job needs in each of the communities. Within programs of strategic emphasis, more than 60% of our undergraduate degrees are awarded in majors that lead to those open jobs, and 65% of our graduate degrees are in programs of strategic emphasis. The next thing we do, and this is also something that makes Florida unique, is we have something called My Florida Future. If you go to the Florida Board of Governors website, this is the most visited page on our entire website. You can choose any institution, and then once you've chosen that institution, look at every major that's offered, and it will tell you what recent college graduates are earning when they graduate. And so you go into the university with your eyes wide open when you choose your major of what your job prospects are going to be after graduation. Within performance-based funding, on that metric, we look at post-graduation, how are our graduates doing? 75% of them are either continuing their education in a professional degree, law school, medical school, or going on to get their master's or their doctorate, or they're employed. And if they're employed, we're looking at what are the wages that they are earning. And the median wage of a graduate from the State University System of Florida is $50.
Chancellor, stand by. Chancellor Ray Rodrigues with me. Another segment to go, 17 past the hour.
If you've been...
Hey, this is Kyle Brandt. You're busy. I'm busy. But every single Monday we take 10 minutes to dish out 10 takes. NFL, life, whatever, but never more than 10 minutes. It's 10 takes with Kyle Brandt. Driving home from work? You got time for 10 takes. Taking a smoke break? You still smoke? You got time for 10 takes. Listen to 10 Takes with Kyle Brandt on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search 10 Takes with Kyle Brandt and start listening.
Top reasons your career wants you to move to Ohio. So many amazing growth opportunities, high-paying jobs in technology, advanced manufacturing, engineering, life sciences, and more. You'll soar to new heights, just like the Wright brothers, John Glenn, even Neil Armstrong. Their careers all took off in Ohio, and yours can too. A job that can take you further, and a place you can't wait to come home to. Have it all in the heart of it all. Launch your search at callohiohome.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
When you find a deal on your favorite thing in the McDonald's app and order it, does that technically count as online shopping? Save money with the app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's, prices may vary.
Did you hear? Vision Center South in Mariana is the community's top choice for vision care. Our experienced team provides professional eye exams, glasses, and contacts, conveniently under one roof. Frames start at only $99, offering a fantastic selection of brands for your unique style. Have an outside prescription? We can custom make your glasses at our state-of-the-art lab. Go to visioncentersouth.net to schedule your eye exam in Mariana today.
Tis the season for Hardee's handcrafted goodness. Made from scratch buttermilk biscuits pulled fresh from the oven. The return of special traditions like salty sweet candied bacon. And faithful friends like Hardee's cinnamon raisin biscuits gathered near to us and served all day, all season long. From icing drizzled biscuits to savory charbroiled burgers, unwrap the holiday goodness of Hardee's. And now enjoy breakfast till noon. Available for limited time at participating locations. Items may vary.
Breathing deeply while listening to ocean waves can help reduce stress. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Let's keep solving. For more health solutions, go to FloridaBlue.com. Florida Blue is a trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida, Inc.
The best things never change, they just get better. Like Hardee's Original Bag, just $5.99. Choose from juicy charbroiled double cheeseburgers, melty hot ham and cheeses, or hand-breaded chicken tender wraps. 2 full-size favorites plus fries and a drink, all just $5.99. There's no skimping in this bag. No junior burgers or tiny nuggies, just full-size goodness for big-time value. The $5.99 Original Bag, only at Hardee's. These items are tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Planet Fitness is the place to get that big fitness energy with tons of equipment and free fitness training. Join now for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends November 15th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club. See club for details.
If you're a business owner, driving sales is a priority. And the formula for marketing success? It's reach times response rate equals results. And no platform reaches the customers your business needs like radio. At iHeartMedia, we provide unmatched reach through our radio stations, podcasts, and digital streaming platforms. Maximize your results by driving response from our massive audience. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Don't wait. Holiday shopping has already started. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
My name is Amanda. I work with women who are trying to quit smoking. And I have some tips for you in case you're pregnant or thinking about having a baby. First thing is, keep trying to quit. Or better yet, don't start smoking. It can cause premature birth, which can then increase the risk of your baby having developmental delays, problems with eyesight, breathing, and more. So don't give up. There are people like me who are here to support you, because I know what can happen if you don't quit. Your baby could be born 2 months early and weigh only 3 pounds. She could be in the NICU for almost a month. Put in an incubator and fed through a feeding tube that goes through her nose down into her little stomach. I know that because I smoked while I was pregnant. And that's what happened to my little baby. I quit. You can too.
Quit your way. Call 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW or visit tobaccofreeflorida.com. Developed by CDC.
2 more minutes this morning with the Chancellor of the State University System, and we're talking higher education with Ray Rodrigues. Ray, I talked about this briefly with you in the break. A lot of parents concerned, and I think one of the things that a lot of people are struggling with is what happens in secondary higher education when it comes to the indoctrination of students. They go to college thinking one way, and they come out thinking another because there are notable professors that take advantage of it, that they have almost a captive audience. What does the Board of Regents, what do you do as a chancellor to ensure that kids are getting an education and exposure to all philosophical ideals and ideas when it comes to governance and economics and all of the various philosophies that are out there?
Well, that is a very real concern. Gallup organization does an annual poll where they measure the confidence of Americans in their institutions. And last year they found confidence in higher education had fallen to 36%.
Mm-hmm.
The last time they they had done that, confidence level was close to 60%, so it was shocking. This year, they were prepared, so when they polled, they had follow-up questions. And once again, the confidence level is down to 36%. The theory last year was the reason Americans had lost confidence was because higher education had gotten so expensive and students were going so deep in debt. What Gallup found when they asked the follow-up questions as to why you lost confidence in higher education, that was actually the third reason, the cost and the debt. The number one reason Americans have lost confidence in higher education is because of a belief that is indoctrinating students into a left-wing ideology. And that was shocking because no one thought that would be the number one answer. And that was number one because it's a top concern for both Republicans and those who identify politically as independents. In the state of Florida, the action that's been taken has been led by Governor Ron DeSantis. He championed legislation 2 sessions ago to remove DEI programs out of our universities and for us to address these concepts, particularly in our general education curriculum, because that's where the real threat on indoctrination occurs. In general education, students have to take these courses. They don't have a choice. So it's one thing if you want to go major in one of these concepts or majors or programs that have these theories in them.
Yep.
But a student shouldn't be forced to sit through this in order to complete their general education curriculum. The statute removes these concepts out of general education curriculum. And so in the state of Florida, you're going to be able to complete your general education curriculum without being exposed to any left-wing indoctrination.
I'm sorry, but Chancellor, is there a process for students that are still being exposed to this type of thing where they're required to agree with certain principles or their papers don't get graded or they get just raked over the coals with the grading the grading model that's being used? Is there a way for these professors, because they're still out there and they brag about being out there, how are they reported?
That's a good question. I'm going to give you 2 things. The first is within that legislation that requires these concepts to be removed out of general education curriculum, there's a carrot and a stick. And the stick is if the university is found to have these concepts in general education and to continue indoctrination, the university is subject to losing their performance-based funding. In Florida, the appropriations that we receive, and I mentioned earlier how they've gone up nearly 300%.
Yeah.
Are all appropriated through the prism of performance-based funding. So that is a significant threat to universities that they absolutely, from a leadership perspective, will be seeking to avoid. The second thing I want to share with you, and this is also something that makes Florida unique, is that every year we survey all of our students on the concepts of viewpoint diversity and intellectual freedom. And this year we just completed what is the largest voluntary survey that's been done in higher education in the history of the United States because our system's so large. And the results that came back were very encouraging in that the overwhelming majority of our students believe in their classrooms that viewpoint diversity is presented and that intellectual freedom is encouraged. And we're going to continue measuring that every single year.
Good.
If a student is in a classroom and they are being exposed to these concepts, then they have the ability to report that, and I can guarantee you the university is going to take action because no university is going to risk losing their performance-based funding.
Chancellor, thank you so much. There's all kinds of things we could keep talking about, but I appreciate the time you've offered us this morning, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Chancellor Ray Rodrigues with the State University System, my guest. 28 past the hour.